Hello and welcome to Temple Street. I'm Morgan Weedman.
I'm Moss Lynch.
And I'm Ryan O'Connor.
Today we'll talk about the opening of the Frog Pond skating rink in Boston Common, inform people on the sportscasting program at Suffolk, and revisit Frank Sinatra's legacy.
We'll also take a look at Showville, travel back in time to King Richard's Faire, and sit down and talk with former Knesset member Zeidan Atashi.
Well, and as always with Critics Corner, I'll give my take on the War of Christmas.
But first, the news. While the Frog Pond in Boston may be a swimming pool for little children over the summer, it turns into a popular ice rink during the winter. Karina Bolster and Marie Hoffman went down to the ice rink to see this year's Skating Spectacular, hosted by the Skating Club of Boston.
'Twas the night of December 1st, and all through the town, silence swept across the ice as the sun came down. The Frog Pond in Boston was full of holiday cheer as parents and children awaited the opening year. Rescheduled from November due to abnormally warm weather, the show went on as graceful as a feather. The ceremony began without a fret as the Skating Spectacular began its first set. The Excel Crystals followed with laughter.
It was cool, like with being outside and everything. It was fun.
As New England novice champion Janelle Herman proceeded thereafter.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I did it last year. It was a lot warmer than last year. The ice was good. I'd love to do it again. 2009
World and U.S. Junior Bronze medalist Simon Schnapp was honored to be among the specialists.
Just a great occasion and great to see so many people come out and support the skating and come see the tree lighting and all the other great activities out here. So really looking forward to a fun evening.
19-year-old and U.S. National Bronze champion Ross Minor tells us to come and skate at the Frog Pond as these December days get finer.
Since the Skating Club of Boston has started, managing the Frog Pond, it's really given us an opportunity to skate here and, do some fun shows.
As the show concluded with all, one patron's impression was quite the hurrah.
They wowed me, and Ross really skated so well out there. I almost thought I was going to fall off my seat.
The Skating Club of Boston put forth a great show as the Frog Pond gears up for a winter of snow. The rink downtown is now open for business, and Miss Kimberly Baya wishes you a Merry Christmas.
I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and remind them that dreams do come true, and don't tell anybody that they don't, because that's wrong.
For dreams do come true, ever so bright. Happy holidays to all, and to all a good night. For Temple Street, I'm Karina Bolster.
A celebration for the 100th year anniversary of the Skating Club of Boston will be held next year. Tickets and prices for the Frog Pond skating rink admission can be found at bostonfrogpond.com.
Do you dream of working for a major sports network one day? If you are a CJN student here, we have great news for you. Suffolk Sportcasting has arrived. Temple Street reporters Caleb Vesey and Jeff Miller have the details.
Suffolk University is excited to introduce a brand new initiative that will provide its sports teams with media exposure and a chance for interested students to work hands-on in broadcasting. Students will broadcast live Suffolk sports events that will appear on Ustream.com under the Suffolk University channel. Instructors Keith Erickson, Frank Irizarry, Jason Carter, and Sasha Lekic have devised the group with the goal that students will operate on their own in the future.
This is a hands-on initiative that we just started here at Suffolk University, and that's the key for getting internships and getting jobs in the future. And we hope that kids who are dedicated and want to get into sports broadcasting will take the initiative to become part of the team here. Schlepping the gear down, setting it all up, understanding how it works, why it works, and so therefore you have a better knowledge and a better base and a better resume when you get out of school.
Students will alternate roles including play-by-play commentating, sideline reporting, and camera operating, increasing their versatility within the production field. And being versatile is a key characteristic when it comes to seeking employment.
There are more job opportunities with smaller teams, AAA, minor league baseball, developmental league basketball, minor league hockey, arena football, which is where I've worked for a number of years. And oftentimes you don't have the staff sizes like you have with the large major league teams. So the PR director might also be the broadcaster. They might do radio and TV. So the more that you can do, the better off you are.
Keith and Frank, who both have strong backgrounds in sports broadcasting, share their knowledge and provide a truly professional experience.
I have a sports background. Frank Irizarry has a sports background. Jason has the production background, and Sasha is the technical guru here at Suffolk University. Everybody knows that. So you put all those elements together, you got yourself a pretty good team to lead the students to these broadcasting events that they eventually want to do.
Suffolk's athletic director James Nelson believes this initiative is very beneficial.
And now those parents and their friends will have the opportunity to see their sons or daughters play live.
This group has also inspired 2 classes that will be offered next semester. A class that focuses on writing, directing, and producing a sportscast, and a video production class.
You're the face in front of the camera, or you're the voice behind the microphone. You should know how every aspect of that operation runs. So for our students, it's just as important to get time in front of the camera as it is behind the camera as well.
For Temple Street, I'm Kayla Vesey.
That sounds like a really great opportunity for sportscasting experience.
Yeah, and it's great for the Suffolk Rams as well.
It is. Frank Sinatra, one of the greatest American singers of all time, has touched the lives of millions through his music and performances. Sinatra continues to inspire others through his music, including Suffolk student Zach Williams. Reporters Moss Lynch and Jeff McHugh have the story.
Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes, is known as one of the world's greatest entertainers of popular music. Over the course of 6 decades, Sinatra earned multiple awards in acting and singing. His legacy has influenced performers around the world, including Suffolk University student Zach Williams.
And guess who sighs his lullabies?
Suffolk University student and economics major Zach Williams is a tribute performer who not only performs the music of Sinatra, but also educates his audience of Sinatra's legacy.
I call it a tribute show and not an impersonation because, well, I don't try to use his mannerisms or speak in the way that he spoke. I just like to sing the music that he sang and then educate people or talk to people about who he was as a person. I often just work for free for the city because it's really fun for me, it's really meaningful for them, and you know, if it's merely an issue of whether they can afford to put it on, then I usually go the mile.
Williams says his hobby is not about how much money he can earn, but rather he wishes to pass on the wisdom of Sinatra to his audience.
You shouldn't concentrate on the prize, but think about how moving towards it will help you grow. Just give it your all. And as Sinatra would have said, you must pay attention to your talent, lest it be taken from you as quickly as it was loaned to you.
Williams recently performed at the Blackstone Apartments, a retirement center in Boston. After his performance, the residents cheered and clapped for Zach's unique talent. Dina Ressler, Blackstone manager, says his tribute show was so well done that they are already looking forward to his next visit.
He's a very good entertainer. My residents were enjoying, and I thought he had a very good rapport with them. And he answered their questions and told jokes. He was pretty much at ease, even though he said that he lost sleep over this performance. Nobody walked out.
Well, now the one I love belongs to somebody else. She sings her tender songs to somebody else. And even when I have my arms around her, I know her thoughts are strong for somebody else.
For Temple Street, I'm Moss Lynch.
Belong to somebody else.
Sinatra's timeless tunes continue to entertain through both Sinatra's classic originals and modern covers. Zach Williams sets the perfect example for how to carry on the legacy of one of the greats for the benefit of the community and himself.
Suffolk University professor Jason Carter has worked hands-on with Suffolk students to create a feature short called Showville, which was premiered at the Modern Theater last week. Brittany Allsteiger has the story.
Showville is the new reality, where everyone can be a star, where everyone will be seen, where everyone will have their moment.
Wendell, you're not well.
3 years ago, professional filmmaker and media production professor Jason Carter, together with independent filmmaker Paul Cirillo, decided it was time to turn their longtime dream of making a movie into a reality. And finally, this fall, Showville was released and premiered in New York City and Boston.
It's a town. Showville is a town that doesn't exist anywhere in America, but could exist anywhere in America. And the idea is that they're so obsessed with celebrity culture that just being in the town kind of makes you part of the show.
Wendell J. Whedon, played by Don Garrity, is the greatest tour guide Showville has ever seen. He's on top of the world, giving Showvillians the exposure they crave, until he meets Sophia, played by Cheryl Tursky, a new tour guide that will stop at nothing to become famous. Carter said he thought he could combine his role as a teacher with his position as a filmmaker to create an interesting experience for students, where they get to be a part of a real film production. Showville was offered as a class at Suffolk, with students working as camera crew, lighting, and sound technicians, as well as talent.
You're going to be the real crew on a production with an experienced director and your teacher. So we'll go at a pace where I'm teaching as we go, you're asking questions, and it was great. Honestly, I prefer it sometimes to bigger crews. And just working with the students, it was fantastic. I mean, it really, the part of the problem is it goes slow, and then we've got to go through all of those growing pains. But I mean, I couldn't be prouder of that. This is most people won't know that it was filmed by students. The experience I've gotten has been collected over 20 years. And I was the PA working, getting coffee and donuts, and eyes open, mouth shut. That's what they used to say was a good PA, right? And eyes open is because you're paying attention. Look, here's the professional director, DP, and they're doing beautiful work. How are they setting the lights? How are they communicating to their crew? And so basically I got, what I'd like to think is these students got a really encapsulated 20-year experience, in a semester by working on this film, which then a lot of the students have already turned around and started making their movies, their own movies and their own productions. And I'd like to believe that, that they've basically got a little jump start.
In early December, Showville premiered at Suffolk's Modern Theater on the big screen before a live audience, and is currently being entered into a variety of different film festivals around the world. Carter said he's already planning on his next project with Cirillo. It is going to be a road trip movie about a Civil War veteran and his estranged grandson and their journey home. For Temple Street, I'm Brittany Elschlager.
Thanks, Brittany. So Showville was filmed entirely by students. Who would have known?
Exactly. I went to the premiere last week, and I just can't believe how talented Suffolk students really are. Keep an eye out for Jason's upcoming films.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break with King Richard's Faire, our in-studio interview in Critic Corner.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off computers and game systems when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Grab a grown-up and go online to energy.gov/kids.
Okay, everyone, we have a lot to cover this morning. Tim should be here any second with the latest budget numbers to take us through the initial schedule for production and...
Ow. This is one way to avoid getting the H1N1 flu virus.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. All right, good morning. Let's get this meeting started.
For some better ways, visit flu.gov.
Anyone have a tissue?
Who isn't dreaming about getting rescued by a knight in shining armor? How about getting paid for being a knight in shining armor and even getting into sword fights? Mace Marino and Brianna Pitts visited King Richard's Fair for a closer look at Massachusetts' greatest Renaissance experience.
King Richard's Fair, a land of enchantment and wonder, comes to Carver, Massachusetts once a year for 8 weeks during the early fall. Celebrating its 30th year, the fair still brings in thousands of visitors every year. On a beautiful October weekend, I decided to find out if an average Joe like myself could trade in the tattered jeans and band t-shirt for a more traditional King Richard's Fair look. I wanted to see if a Renaissance-style outfit will help me fit in better with people who get a kick out of the historical reenactment. With so many new things to discover about 16th century England, I stopped by a blacksmith to swing a sword or two.
Oh, wow. Give me a second. Yeah, this thing's got some power to it, huh? I feel like Johnny Depp right now.
Took my first pony ride as an adult.
Hi, Mom.
And got a taste of the local foods. As I slowly realized I was falling in love with the medieval scene, I needed to find out why other people like this place so much. So I hunted down some of the locals to see what made it special for them.
I think it's the smiling faces I see amongst the people here, like yourself, all the people here. There's a wonderful community of people between. There's some excellent performers, wonderful artisans, and the people who come and the citizens of Carvershire are just wonderful to talk to.
I met my fair share of eccentric people and surprisingly realized I fit right in with this community.
You shall not pass!
With one of my favorite new friends being David.
Welcome to King Richard's Fair and the 30th anniversary of our beautiful round. Are you all having fun?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I know I'm having a good time, and I also know David is enjoying himself.
Not everyone, however, comes to the fair alone. While I was hoping my new historically updated look would help me find love in the enchanted woods, it seemed others were more lucky than I was.
Can you please tell us what your role is here at the fair?
My role, as you saw me just doing, is I am one of the what we call the rose folk. We go about with our baskets full of roses, doing what I like to call spreading romance and chaos, not necessarily in that order.
For those having trouble getting into character, organizers provide plenty of shops where you can spend your gold and attempt to get the perfect costume. And the more elaborate your outfit, the more fun you'll have. And this is by far the best part about the fair.
I challenge you to a duel for no apparent reason. What? Ah! Must be. Ah!
We're almost there.
Well, hello there. Okay, you're looking at me pretty fiercely.
You don't see this often, Lord Percival Shallot's empty.
Yeah, no. I'm very embarrassed, by the way. I had no idea people were looking for this all that time. It's the Holy Grail. Oh.
Sometimes a naughty boy just needs to get spanked, you understand.
For Temple Street, I'm Mason Marino.
They say you never work a day if you're having fun. That does seem like a really great job.
Temple Street's Melanie Blethyn sat down with Arab Druze diplomat Zeidan Atashi to discuss the challenges experienced by minorities in Israel.
Today in the Temple Street studio we have Zeidan Atashi with us. Thank you so much for coming today, Mr. Atashi.
Thank you for having me.
How does the Druze community differ from the rest of the Israeli Jewish people in terms of faith or their political involvement?
So we are natives and indigenous of the State of Israel for hundreds of years. And although the State of Israel was proclaimed in 1948 upon its establishment as a Jewish homeland for the Jewish people, the Jewish towns have had good infrastructure even before the statehood of Israel. The Arab towns have zero infrastructure. The Arab towns or the Arab area was to start from zero, while the Jewish towns started from 30 or 50%. So in order to run and to be equal, it takes a lot of time. This is the inequality. It's not in purpose. It is because of historical, geographical, social education reasons.
There are still some areas where they are not considered equal. Is it because of the differences in faith?
If you say it is because of ethnic origin, I would say yes. Because the Jewish have a commitment first and foremost to the Jewish people. There is nothing different from other countries to be a minority in a state. As I said, although the state of Israel is an ethnic democracy, it extended this democracy to any other non-Jewish.
What are the major goals that you had when you were a member of the legislature, and what did you achieve, and what do the Jews still need to achieve?
In the Knesset, we have 120 members, elected members each 4 years. The Israeli public know only about 40 to 50 of them. The rest are absent. Nobody knows about them because they are not active. So if I was elected to the parliament, I thought that I have something to do in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multinational, multilingual state. The one point that I focused among many others is education. Because I believe that if you extend education to all the Israelis with no difference and compulsory education, this education will allow anyone to feel that he is aware, he is knowledgeable, so he is equal to the others. So the more we extend education, the more we bridge the gap or the differences between the components of the Israeli society. So we have two educational systems. One is Hebrew and one is Arabic. Both are administered and financed by the Israeli government. So the Druze and the Muslims and the Christians can have their own school system in Arabic and certainly Hebrew and English. And the Jewish or the Hebrew system, they have their own system or curriculum in Hebrew and English, and sometimes in certain schools, Arabic.
From my understanding, though, the Druze are the only non-Jewish minority in Israel that has to serve in the Israeli Defense Force. Are there ways in which they're not treated equally in the Defense Force?
There was some objections by the Muslims and the Christians that they do not want to serve in an army compulsory, and this is the word. This is the crucial word. To serve in an army which fights their brethren across the borders. However, there are many Muslims and Christians who subscribe to the defense, to the Israeli service in the Israeli army as volunteers. So they volunteer the 3 years. The Druze are compulsory. The defense forces are the only institution in the state of Israel who extend equality to their subscribers.
What kind of role does the Druze community play in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Do they have a unique role? Is there a way that, because of their relations to, in a sense, the faith on one side and the state on the other, their legislative body on the other, what is their role?
We only 1.6% of the total Israeli population. So we do have many activities because we sympathize with the Palestinians cause, and certainly great segments of the Druze, like great segments in the Israeli Jewish society, would like to see a two-state system in that area.
To wrap things up, talking about your book, which talked about a shared destiny between the Druze and the Jewish people, do you think that there is a shared destiny? Does this destiny in any way relate to maybe a possible resolution to this conflict?
In my book, which was published in the mid-90s, I call the Druze as the mediators between the Jewish majority and the Arab minority. We played as an example for multi-existence to influence the Israeli politics inside and outside, and even exceed our percentage in the area in order, as I mentioned earlier, to create some kind of homogeneous Israeli society, which we were successful to do.
Well, Thank you so much, Mr. Atashi. It's wonderful having you here, and I'm just so happy to get your insight on all these amazing things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Melanie. It's great to hear that the Druze community is finally getting the representation they deserve and the legislation to back it up.
We now go to Critic's Corner with Ryan with his current take on the war on Christmas.
Thank you, Maz. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays. 5 syllables. 5 measly syllables that say, I am unaware of what your religious beliefs are, and therefore wish you a non-religious specific gleeful time of celebration during this festive season. Not hard, right? Well, for some folks, it seems to be as difficult as TBS saying no to Tyler Perry. So how did this innocent, politically correct phrase become the ultimate declaration of war against Christmas? Well, for some time now, Christmas devotees have believed that the phrase Happy Holidays is like a slap in the face of Christians everywhere. That Happy Holidays takes the Christ right out of Christmas. I mean, Fox News and the people of Rhode Island have turned Governor Lincoln Chafee into the ultimate enemy just because he called the State House tree a holiday tree instead of a Christmas tree. How can people get so upset about this? I mean, really, would anyone confuse this tree for a really large menorah? Let's get a little historical perspective. Christmas hasn't always been celebrated the way we know it today. First of all, December 25th is not really Jesus' birthday. No one really knows when he was born. Second, it began as the final day of an 8-day-long celebration called Saturnalia, created by Roman pagans. To kick off the festivities, Roman authorities selected an enemy of its people and forced him or her to indulge in physical pleasures before sacrificing him or her in the hopes of destroying the powers of darkness. In the meantime, the ones lucky enough to avoid being called the Lord of Misrule got drunk as a skunk, danced and sang naked in the streets, the first Christmas carolers, committed rape and other sexual acts, and feasted on human-shaped biscuits. Not that I want you to remember that the next time you take a bite into a Santa-shaped cookie. I don't even want you to think about all this history come Christmas morning. I'm just saying, let's all be reasonable here. Look, I'm a Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and I love all that goes along with Christmas, the movies, the music, the gifts, the meaning behind it. But to be completely honest, this debacle that's been going on for some time is just spoiling the party. While I am in general principle against all wars, I don't even really understand this one. Why say Merry Christmas to someone who doesn't celebrate it? It's like saying Happy Birthday to someone when it's not their birthday. What's the point? Instead of fighting, why not realize what all the holidays have in common? Shopping. Jews, Christians, Muslims, Hindu. In the end, gifts make us all so much happier. 'Tis the season for giving, right? After all, last year Americans spent $584.3 billion on gifts. Hey, at least we stimulate economic growth. My point is, we live in a world where terrible, horrific things happen every day. And people are upset because their holiday isn't consuming all the other holidays that happen to occur around the same time. This is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. So let's keep it this way. The bottom line is, like our freedom of religion, we all have freedom of speech. But whatever you say it with some holiday cheer.
Well, you know, I never realized there was so much history behind Christmas.
I know, me either. I personally usually say Merry Christmas, but now I might think twice about that and say Happy Holidays.
Really? Yeah.
True. Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Temple Street. I'm Moss Lynch.
I'm Morgan Weedman.
And I'm Ryan O'Connor.
Happy Holidays.